We'll do our best. We've been, juggling our schedules with our administrators, with the candidates. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all.
I want to address to Mr. Kane and Fifield and Mr. Groot and his daughter in regards to the coach and the situation that was happening at that time. And I'm also going to refer it over to Dr. Hazel, who and I we've been doing an investigation on this. But as you notice on the agenda that on page 8, that the coach is there, she is being board-approved to back at Coltneck High School, and we are very supportive of her, and we are supportive of the team, and she did a remarkable job last year, and we know that we're confident that she's going to continue doing the same job. But to give you just a little bit of a background of what went on, Dr. Hazel is going to address this.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the board in regard to the board appointment of the Coltneck High School coach. Some matters for our parent were brought to the attention of central administration regarding the girls' basketball program at Coltneck High School. I also appreciate the comments of Jessie, Danielle, I think of Jessie's mom and Danielle's dad that are here this evening. I do want to inform the board that the matter was fully reviewed, and based on our review from the central administration, we support the appointment of the Coltneck High School basketball coach.
Just to say thank you both for a very thorough job investigating this incident. On a lighter note, anyone who's got an agenda, if you look at page 8 that was just made reference to, a little further down, the ice hockey coach for Coltneck, his name is Lawrence Berra. That's Yogi's grandson. Yogi, that is Yogi Berra's grandson. Just come on, cheer on the Coltneck High School hockey team. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move on to our agenda.
There was a question asked earlier about the absence of Ms. Evangelista, and I think we would like to get that answer because she is an assistant superintendent of curriculum. So, could you please answer that?
I can answer the question for you that Ms. Evangelista will attend board meetings and as well as executive session with the board members when there's an issue that arises that's in her area to come here. She does not need to be here at every meeting, and therefore in the future that at the time when we do need her, that will address her. If she's going to do a presentation, we will do it then.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, I asked permission
I know.
from Dr. Kay. Dr. Taylor.
Okay.
She is the assistant superintendent of curriculum. With that kind of pay, we expect her to sit here and witness the whole meeting, so she will be, informed of what's going on. Dr. Hazel is there. You're there, Dr. Taylor, as an assistant superintendent. She should be there because curriculum is so important. Mr. Boyce is there, you're all assistant superintendent, and you're sitting there. Why make an exemption for Mrs. Evangelista not to be here?
Believe me, your comments are noted.
Thank you, sir.
Moving on to the agenda. Items H1 through H5. Need to move in a second, please? With addenda, yellow H1 through H5, there's an H2 and an H3 on the addenda. It is moved by Mr. Bruno. Seconded by Mrs. Sotero. Comments, discussions, H1 through H5 plus the addenda? Seeing none? Mrs. Bliss?
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mrs. Canario?
Yes.
Mr. Hochberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses?
Yes.
Mrs. Sutera?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay. Yes. Please.
Mr. Lawson, before that we move on, I would like to congratulate our two new supervisors, and that's Kelly Fitzhenry, who is here, and she's our new supervisor for special education at Freehold Township High School, and Mr. Patrick McAvoy, who's our... Mr. Patrick McAvoy, who's our new supervisor for extracurricular activities at Freehold Township.
Another seeker? On the other one?
Place home, we still have the same number.
No, we have one that's moving, this is for January 1st.
Yeah, this is
This is January 1st,
We have one that's moving on to an assistant principal position at Colts.
January 1st.
Okay, I-1, I'm sorry. I-1 through I-4. Mover and seconder, please. Second. Moved by Mrs. Canario, seconded by Mr. Davis. Comments, questions? I-1 through I-4? Okay. Seeing no comments? Mr. Boyce.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mrs. Canario?
Yes.
Mr. Hochberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses?
Yes.
Mrs. Sutera?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes. Item J1. Mover and seconder, please. Mrs. Canario. Seconder for J1, please.
I'll second.
Comments, questions, J1? Okay.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mrs. Canario?
Yes.
Mr. Hochberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses?
Yes.
Mrs. Sutera?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes. K1 through K14. Yes, K14. Mover and seconder, please.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Bruno. Seconder, K1 to K14. Going once.
If it's seconded, can we do a discussion? I second.
Mr. Moses. Questions, discussion on...
I have a question. I don't know if this lady, I'm sorry, what's your first name?
Nancy.
Nancy. I don't know if Nancy's question was answered about the K-5. I was under the impression that we weren't paying for trips, that, you know, it had to be funded by the students. Am I mistaken about that?
Yes, you're mistaken.
I'm mistaken. Okay. So is there a reason why all the 5 high schools are not included in that? The 6 high schools?
I apologize, I don't have the answer, but they do move through a process where they qualify, and then the application goes, curriculum-related application moves through, and the central office goes.
And the other schools, the other two schools, go through the process. They don't have.
Where is the advice?
I don't have knowledge on this specifically, but that's my understanding.
So of the 6, only the 3 qualify?
I don't know that specifically, but not all of them attend all events.
And this is the state level, this is the state now at this level.
Request at this level originate at the school, right, at the individual school.
But the school has to ask for the money, right? I mean, that's sort of what
Yes.
I'm understanding the process. So if our band director, for example, one that our SECA and our band director have to get together and say, we need this money, and then they come and ask me for it. So what I'm going to assume, which I know is not a good idea, that they didn't ask for us. They didn't go through these things. So maybe the Colts Neck advisor never asked, JSA never asked for that money. Perhaps that could be a scenario.
Nancy, we have,
You have a vote on the table.
No, Nancy, I can explain it for you. The $3,000 reflects the in-state transportation for the in-state. If you notice on K6, there is no monies that are being contributed by the district, because that's an out-of-state. Anything out-of-state is their own funding. Anything in-state, the district will provide the bus to Parsippany. Okay? RJSA is volunteer. We don't have, they never submitted any paperwork, so right now, Colts Neck doesn't have an active JSA. It was one of the budget cuts in our bill.
Okay, so we, as a district, we don't pay for out-of-state travel, is that?
That's why K-8, the cheerleaders, pay for themselves.
So we're up to the vote on K1 to K14. Mr. Boyce.
Mr. Bruno?
yes.
Mrs. Canario?
Just one question on K-8. It says that they're going to go for an overnight excursion. I know that it's a 2-day competition, and there's also traveling involved, so how is that?
It's all out of our, it's all,
We're not funding any transportation for that?
no, it would stay. Yep.
This is all student fundraising.
It's out of state. It's out of state.
We made a decision 2 years ago.
I'll be there.
Sleep on the bus on the way home.
So, Mrs. Canario?
Yes.
Mr. Hochberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses?
Yes.
Mrs. Sotera?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes. Okay, L1 and L2. A mover and a seconder, please.
I'll move it.
Moved by Mr. Bruno,
I'll second it.
seconded by Mrs. Canario. Discussion on L1 and L2. Okay, seeing none, Mr. Boyce.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mrs. Canario?
Yes.
Mr. Hochberg?
Yes.
Mrs. Lavin?
Yes.
Mr. Moses?
Yes on L1, no on L2.
Mrs. Sotera?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes. Okay. Old business. Any old business before the board tonight?
I have a question. I've been out in high school. I know a vice principal is leaving. The date is, you know when the date is?
She's, we got 60-day notice, so her last date, I believe, is December 17th.
So at that particular time, there'll only be one vice principal at Mount High School?
Oh, no, December?
Yeah, if you
No, then it's back.
right before the holiday.
Oh, so
It's
it'll be
Go back, I think, December 1st.
And we're going to try to fill that